Unfortunately, they've been doing this all their life, and they might not have the qualities of how to be in a relationship. Just because they look great or just because they can play a sport doesn't mean they actually know how to communicate. Doesn't mean they actually know how to resolve conflict. So when there is conflict, now they just go back to what they're used to doing, other people.
And now you can always claim a sex addiction. And that's the
right.
easy way out. Buzzword for 2010. Well, we're going to give our viewers an opportunity to tell us what they think about all of this. Why is it that you think men cheat? Do you think it's just expected behavior? Maybe our fathers did it. Not my father, I can tell you that, because my mother would have killed him, okay? But is it because other men in our lives did it? Do you think a marriage or a relationship could survive infidelity, or is that the deal breaker for you? Have you had that experience? If you have and you want to share it, if you learned something about it, we go ahead and invite you to be part of the conversation. The way you do that is you can email me a couple of different ways. Log on to csnphilly.com and then you put in It's Your Call or IYC. That'll take you to my webpage there where you can leave me a comment. You can also email me directly right here at the show. That's TCN_IYC@ComcastNetwork.com. We're on Facebook and MySpace and YouTube. And if you want to write to me directly, it's lynn@lynndoyle.net. And we're going to check in with our Facebook friends in just a couple of minutes, but right now I'm going to return to the panel here. I put the question out to Facebook, why is it that men cheat? Is it just something they can't help? And are we actually doing them a disservice by expecting them to be faithful? And Amy, the responses that I got, first, the men were irate that I didn't include women in the cheating file. Right. And I explained to them, you know, Tiger, Sanford, right. You know, Kobe, all of these guys that were in the news, Jesse James, they were all guys right now. I couldn't name a woman who had gotten in front of the television cameras and apologized for her behavior. So that was the first thing. I got great response. Overall, though, they said basically men do it because they can get away with it, because women accept it and they participate in it.
I don't agree that women accept it. I have women that come in my office and you know, they are just, that's it, that's the deal breaker, I am done. And you know, there some cases people come in and they say, okay, I'm still willing to work things out. Mostly with infidelity, that is the deal breaker. So I don't think that there's so much putting up with it.
Well,
you know, as you might
fooling
think.
around with these guys. Some women have to have respect for themselves and say, I'm not going to mess with a married man. I don't care if he is Tiger Woods. I don't care if he is Bill Clinton. I'm not going to do it.
Well, not that I want to defend infidelity. I don't want anyone to get me wrong here, but I do think to put some perspective on it. You know, there are people that are married 10 years and 20 years and 30 years, and that's a really long time. And you know, see, I could see by your face you think I'm defending. No, I'm not defending.
You're going to say
a very long time, and you
you're
know,
going to say they get bored.
Every person that I polled before I came today, every man that I polled, I said, I'm going to be doing this. Tell me what you think. Boredom. That was the answer I got. Literally, from every man.
As well.
Yeah. Boredom.
I got that
and it's not to fault the women. It's to. I would ask you guys: is that a male trait more than a female trait? The boredom issue, but that's what people.
There's a lot of things involved with that.
Well,
when you think about how we talk about sexuality and relationships, what's supposed to be expected in marriage versus what we think should be expected are two different things. You know, reality versus our expectations, and that is usually where people get to the place of feeling bored because they feel like what's normal in their relationship is not what it should be. I'm not doing the things that I've seen all my life.
And that's the media. Well, that's the media also, is that they have this constant feeding of everything should be exciting all the time.
Absolutely.
And you should always look hot all the time and like a 20-year-old all the time.
And that's not
that feeds
reality.
into it.
And a lot of people get into that idea that, you know, I have to do this, I have to do that. And, you know, the reality of relationships is that there are stages of relationships. You know, there is that excitement, that honeymoon phase, and that does wear off in time, and then it goes into like an intimacy stage, okay? Now, again, the boredom thing, there are ways to kind of pop that excitement back in, because that's all neurochemical stuff that makes you feel, you know, that way. I mean, it gets really, really complicated when you look at some of this stuff, but absolutely, with regards to the boredom, I polled a few guys myself, and they said boredom.
Well, we're going to take a poll right here, but we're going to take a break. As we do, we're asking you, is it boredom that makes people, not just men, cheat? And if your partner cheated on you, do you kick him to the curb? That's what we're going to talk about when we come back. If you'd like to join in, you can email me, lynn@lynndoyle.net.
Transportation for It's Your Call guests provided by Preferred Car and Limousine.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Lynn Doyle. This is It's Your Call, and our topic today, why do men cheat? That is the question that we're asking. Now, before you get outraged out there and say, well, the ladies are doing it too, and they got to be cheating with somebody, I acknowledge that, but the reason we're talking about that this hour is because of all of the men in recent months that have been in front of the microphones and in front of television cameras, apologizing for their behavior, asking for forgiveness, and trying to rebuild their relationships. If you want to tell us what you think about this, we welcome your opinion and your personal experience. I do want to talk about the apology factor. We've heard so many men, and the list is, you know, as long as my arm, in front of TV cameras saying, poor judgment, I apologize, I caused harm. Is this something from which a relationship can recover?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, sometimes relationships are actually improved after an affair, so it can absolutely
you got to
work in
catch
the
me
favor.
with my skeptical look now, because I'm sorry, I'm just not buying that. Okay, I just don't get how a relationship can be better after you've been humiliated by having your partner step out on you.
It can A, bring out the problem to the forefront, or it can B, really have somebody kind of almost get jealous of, you know, that somebody else does want my partner, you know, when the relationship becomes complacent, which many relationships will and do become complacent. So there are two of the things that I see. George?
One of the things, or some of the things I see with the people that I work with, what happens is that when the affair comes out, it now puts you at ground zero. We have to rebuild all over again. And it brings a humility, it brings an honesty, it brings, and just couples being upfront with each other. And when they can start over again, now they're able to build back and say, we've made lots of mistakes, huge mistakes, but now this is what we're going to do forward. And I've seen plenty of couples actually rebound and have healthier, better relationships. They're more honest, they're upfront, they're doing things with each other that they've never done before.
I'm coming from a different view from that.
Say we're the opposite.
I recently had a client who I did some work for. I found out who he was having an affair with. I sent them the videotape. They reviewed that. You know, she showed it to her husband. He apologized. A month later, she found another email and another phone number of a stripper in the Philadelphia area. He was coming into town from business. So she just cried to me on the phone saying, I have a failed marriage, I have a failed marriage, and there's nothing I can do at this point.
Right.
And coming from my perspective, and again, when they come, by the time they come in to see me, the lines are drawn, so it becomes worse because the anger is, you know, the divorce process being as adversarial as it is, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And the funny thing is, because I only see people who are going through the divorce, it never really occurred to me before that there's a whole population of people that fix their marriages after an affair. Because I was only working with people that ended up almost killing each other after an affair. It wasn't until I was talking to a therapist, it was an informal conversation, that she said, well, did it ever occur to you that people get back together? It had never occurred to me, because to me the response was always,
see the ones
I don't see those.
that
The
get
ones
back
that I
together.
see are the ones that want to, you know, kill the
And the people that we
partner.
see, you know, go through these phases, and it takes a long time. You know, I've worked with couples over a year before they get back to that place where the relationship is better than when it's first started.
And it takes that amount of time, and sometimes more, to actually rebuild the trust.
Oh, I would
because
think it would
trust
take
is
a long time.
violated, yeah.
Now, does it matter whether it's just been a single incident, or if there's a serial cheater? Is that a different scenario?
And I can't tell you how many women who have contacted me and said, you know, I know he's cheating on me because he's done it before.
Right.
And I don't understand that. If he's done it once, odds are he is going to do it again. If he's done it twice, he'll definitely do it again. And it's a recurring behavior that he does.
It is a recurring behavior in many, but, you know, for the listeners or the viewers out there, I don't want them to think that just because their partner has cheated at one point in time that they can't change, because